Investors and traders, welcome to the channel Market Chart Pattern. Today is 12th of May 2024. I hope everyone is having a great weekend. In this video, we are going to take a look at the COMEX gold and COMEX silver. We will also be taking a look at the dollar index and brief look at the Euro USD. And then we will be taking a look at the key gold stocks, so such as the GDX, NEM mining, etc. As always, this video is for educational purposes only and it is not a financial advice. Okay, so we will start by taking a look at the daily chart of dollar index. In fact, we'll move to the weekly chart because this is the weekend review. And here we go. This is the weekly chart of dollar index, and what we can see is the dollar index is actually stuck in a trading range. What we believe is, this is what we think, that this 107 level is actually a pretty important high, and what we have seen is a pretty long and elongated trading range which has gone pretty wide in time and in price. And where we are now, initially we were thinking that 107, this is where we were going to reach, but I'll show you in a minute on the daily chart that why we are thinking that after being at key level for 1, 2, and 3 weeks, the market has actually might have seen a pretty good top. And of course, if the market blows above the 107 level, then this analysis get nullified. And in that case, 108.65 and above that also becomes targets. But we'll go with what we see on the daily chart. And just want to point out that last week the dollar was firm, but you can see it was a pretty small trading range day. And last week we also did not have that much economic data coming out, so there wasn't that much news around the economic data. But next week we have quite a few important data related to CPI, so inflation figures coming out. So we could see some moves in the currency markets and the dollar index. Now moving to the daily chart. This is the daily chart of dollar index. Here what we can see is there was a double top formation back in October of 2023. Then that's where we got the confirmation 1st of November, and this is around the October time frame, third week of October, when the actually the bond markets were also starting to move higher, and the stock market started a really nice rally. So we can see that the market has actually done a three-step move right here. So you can think about it as A, B, and then point C and D. And this is why we were thinking that perhaps this 106.80 to 107 level is where the market might actually try to attempt to go higher in this smaller leg higher. But because of this gap here, the market filled this gap right at the 1.618 expansion of this swing A to D leg here. So because of that, and for quite a long period of time, so I just showed you about 3 weeks, the market has not been able to take this high out to the upside. More chances are lining towards that we might have seen a pretty good top in the dollar index, and the dollar will begin to weaken from here. And we have seen a clue of that when the market in fact closed below the 38.2% retracement. This is the retracement of these lows of 9th of April to the highs formed on 1st of May. You can take the 1st of May high as well, or you can take the high of 16th of April. So the market actually closed for 3 consecutive days below the 38.2% retracement. Then it made a rally back into the resistance coming in from these moving averages, closed below the 38.2% retracement, and then last Friday was the dollar was slightly strong, and we had a pretty narrow range trading day. So what it has done is it has given us 2 points from where we can draw a trend line, so 0.1, 0.2, and we can see a nice trend line here. Now how the market is going to react off that, we'll have to wait and see. The key thing is that the market keeps on closing below the 38.2% retracement. On the flip side, if we take a look at the Euro USD, because the dollar index is about 51% the euro currency, and the dollar index is a basket of different currencies, we can see there is a prominent downtrend line here. And what the market is doing is it is challenging this trend line, and it has done it one time Recently it has done challenges in previous occasions as well, but the market actually sold off. And the important thing to note here is that this level of around 106 is pretty strong support because the number of confluence of patterns and Fibonacci ratios coming together. So we have the ABCD, which is this black one. We also have the 78.6% retracement of the lows back in 3rd of October to the highs, which came in on the 28th of December 2023. And then we also have these expansion levels of these, you can see this pattern formation in this blue cyan color. So in my opinion, it's a pretty strong support. However, the dollar is pretty strong, and as strong as the dollar is, it is taking a fair amount of time for this market to rally, and there is a fair amount of supply coming from the resistance as well. So we are really watching for this trend line. If it's able to actually break this swing above 1.0815 and close above it, ideally 2 consecutive daily closes, then it means that the euro is likely to start moving higher, maybe rather aggressively. That's also a possibility. Now, what is really important is that last Thursday on 9th of May, the market retraced right to the 38.2% retracement. And this is a retracement of its lows from 16th of April to the highs of 3rd of May. And it went a slight intraday slightly below the 38.2% retracement, by about maybe 10 pips or so, but rejected lower prices and closed higher. And then last Friday, Friday is also a day where a lot of profit taking can take place. Some of the key players may decide to not carry over the risk over the weekend. And we have seen the dollar actually strengthening and euro USD getting a little bit weaker. So the key takeaway is strong support here, and then 108.15 is the swing high that we are watching for a possible break of this trend line, which should actually make the euro USD go stronger against the dollar index or the dollar. Now we'll move on to our gold. This is the daily chart of COMEX gold. Here an interesting, really interesting thing to watch is on the longer term charts, which we had discussed previously in our videos, 2450 was a key level thereabouts. After reaching that, the market has gone into a slight correction or a pullback. And now the key question is that whether that pullback is over or not. And one of the most really interesting thing is that we try to take a look at the concept of market symmetry, and those are the previous moves the market has done. So if we just take this concept and we take the low to high of this previous swing here, and then we just copy this and put it right here. So that gives us a level of around 2283, 2284 roughly. And what we see is that the recent low has been as low as 2285 spot 2. So in terms of the market symmetry, that was met, and there's like smaller patterns here as well, which I'm not going to go into the details because those are more visible on the shorter time frames. And the market actually rejected lower prices, and you look at, you have day one, day two. So this is where the low happened, and then that's day one, day two, day three consecutive daily closes above this level. So that is telling us the market is actually rejecting lower prices. And then we have seen a nice move higher, especially last Friday. And the interesting part is that actually the dollar closed higher for the day as well, but small trading range. And gold also closed positive. But the key thing to note is it went right to the 61.8% retracement, and I believe there is some expansion here as well. Let me actually quickly draw that. Here we go. Oops. Yep. So we have 1.272 expansion of this swing right into here. And then we have the 61.8% retracement, and we know that whenever there is a confluence of two or more patterns or Fibonacci ratios coming together, it's always a region or a price point where we pay really close attention to, because these tend to be stronger support or resistance depending upon the situation. In this case, it is a resistance point. So it could also be labeled as a point C for a possible one-to-one price projection ABCD, which could in fact see the price come as low as 22.22, which will be the 50% retracement of this entire move, high from the 14th of February to the highs of 12th of April 2024. So there's a possibility that this correction might have a little bit longer to go, and it might do it in a one-to-one ABCD price projection manner. So that possibility is there. Now where we have a strong amount of resistance is actually, let me actually also try to draw a zone like this. So you see here and here, there is fair amount of resistance in this. It's more like a gap kind of formation, and I believe we have the 78.6% retracement sitting right into it as well. So there's a possibility that, you know, if the market opens with a gap higher or is strong, it might actually get towards this level as well. And if it doesn't do that and it just begins to retrace lower, then we have drawn our ABCD patterns. But this possibility is there. Now, what we are looking at is if the market is still correcting lower, this is the level that we need to watch, and then maybe it can resume its rally higher. If it begins to move closer, then this top that we have seen might be a top of fair importance, and then we'll have to evaluate the market in a different way. So we'll take one thing at a time. And on the flip side, if the market is strong and it just begins to get above the 78.6% retracement, then the rally has resumed, and you know, we have further targets on the longer term charts as well. We'll just quickly have a look. Now, one of the things is this is the weekly chart, and here we have this view where we go back to the October of 2022. And the interesting part about the month of October is this is where we have the gold bottoming, but we also have the stock market bottoming as well in the United States. And here, if we take a look at the concept of symmetry, we have this bigger correction which was done in an ABCD fashion. And if we just take the concept of symmetry right here, then it also points to about 2200. Goes a slightly bit lower, so 2290, and that also becomes in line with our daily chart. So we'll have a confluence of excuse me, let me actually go by 22 is on the daily chart, and on the weekly chart 22, yeah, 20, yeah, slightly lower on the weekly chart. But again, in that ballpark figure, we will have some weekly chart also lining up. So I believe anywhere between 2222 to about 2200 would be a region to watch for the price. Now, it will all depend how the market is gonna trade from a price action perspective, and moving beyond the weekly chart and moving into the monthly chart. So this is monthly chart. Let me actually move it to a quarterly chart. So this is now the quarterly chart. So every bar you see is basically a let me actually see if it's not on the log. Yeah, here we go. So this is the every bar you see is 3 months of trading activity. So it's quarterly chart. And here we do have higher targets going as high as 2700. Now there's a possibility that we could see a melt up if our support levels are met for this market. And we have a number of these one-to-one price projections we like to call ABCDs completing in the 2700 region. And I've done a video on the longer term gold charts where I've explained all these patterns. I'll try to put a link to it. I'll especially do it towards the end of the video, so if you can scroll, if you're interested in that, then you'll be able to find that towards the end of the video. It's ideal to watch the full video, and towards the end, if you're interested in watching an explanation of those patterns, please also watch that video. I'll also try to put a link in the description. So there is a possibility, a melt up right into this 2700 where we have these number of these patterns completing, and it could be a pretty important top of some significance. Um, so that possibility remains in gold longer term. I think gold is definitely bullish, but on the weekly charts and especially on the daily charts, we need to watch these pattern formations, because if there is an ongoing correction, these are the key levels that the market is likely to respect. Now, if we'll just move to the silver, and this is the COMEX silver daily futures. Here, slightly different pattern formation to gold. Gold went to the 61.8% retracement, and this one was a little bit shy of the 78.6%. Now, I believe it might have done a 1.618 expansion of this swing. Let me actually see. Yeah, it did it. But also the market went a little bit above that. So the market actually went and tested these swing highs. There we go. And this is where the sellers came in. So it was a bearish price action, and the candle even closed negative as well. So just like the gold, we have this possibility that this market is in fact correcting. And if we were to take this ABCD pattern, it would go as low as 25.50 to 25.40 is the kind of levels coming in from this pattern formation. And if we were to go back all the way to February 2024, excuse me, and let's do a retracement. Let me bring in my so yep, I think the market will have to find a the confluence level will come between 25.40 to 2500 $25 per for the COMEX gold. So that is something that we'll be watching for, because the ABCD goes a little bit below the 2560, which is 78.6% retracement. So in fact, this is what we'll be watching, and along the way, I think on lower time frames we'll have a much more pattern clarity that we'll be able to take a look at. So this is what we are watching in the gold and COMEX gold and COMEX silver charts. Now I'll just begin to move into the gold equities, and if we take a look at the GDX, which is the gold miners ETF. Last time we had a look at this, we were watching for this. It was moving in a confirmed ABCD price pattern here, and which it completed, and now it's just sideways. In fact, this whole move has been in a trading range, and now it's testing the top of this trading range. Whether it's able to break out of this trading range, we'll have to wait and see. But it looks like this market, it in fact did a smaller one-to-one price projection. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. So it has completed that. So maybe it has some way to go down. It was testing the top of the range. So yeah, maybe correction in the gold, which is expected. This is something, a sign we are getting from the gold miners ETF as well. Then if we take a look at XAU, which is the gold and silver sector index. Here we go. Last time when we were watching this one, it completed this ABCD, and now just like GDX is also testing the top of the range, it has also done this ABCD. And yeah, if it's really bullish, it should be able to take this top of the range out and break out. Otherwise, a rotation back in the range is expected, because just at the top of the range. And then if we take a look at the HUI, which is the gold bugs index, again, similar kind of pattern formation, just like the XAU and GDX, it's also testing the top of the range after completing this ABCD. And then there's another smaller ABCD in there. Let me actually show it to you. What I don't like about this is for all of these, the close on Friday, because there was a fair amount of profit taking or whatever it was. This candle formation is a doji candle. It's like a gravestone doji. Doesn't look very nice to me. from a price action perspective. And another thing that I would like to point out is that if you look at these, let's just actually go back a little bit. With gold, what it is doing is gold is it likes to form spike highs. So you can see it just it's a channel spike like this. So you can draw a channel because we have 2 points like this, and we have 2 points like this. So it could be a wedge top, it could be a channel, and then what we see is it's a spike. So it goes into a spike, boom. Similar thing here. We have 2 points here. Let me bring it lower a little bit. Here we go. And then we actually we did not have 2 points here for this one. We just had a possible trend line support which was broken, and then yeah, again spike, and this one is actually rather interesting because it is also a 3 drives to a top pattern, and you can also think of it as a wedge top as well, because we have 3 points, and if we just join these 3 points, there is a channel. It broke out of this channel, and every time, you know, 1 2 3, it's a channel or a wedge. And we have something similar happening here, not a channel formation but like a spike channel. So yeah, I mean, maybe in the previous, this spike, it was able to take this high out. This one was able to take this prior high out. Whether it's able to do that here or not remains to be seen. But this is how actually gold is also where it likes to form spike highs. And I'll tell you, there's another asset class which likes to do that, and that is Bitcoin. So actually, I did a video where I've shown the Lucas time spiral working in this market. I will put a link to it towards the end and also in the description. I think you'll find that very interesting, and that is also something which makes me think if actually Bitcoin is likely to move lower per that Lucas timing spiral, then is dollar likely to get stronger? We'll have to wait and see. But here you can see that it's also a rather spike here in this one. If we look at some of its previous tops here, spike, then boom. Some of the previous really prominent highs, excuse me, we can see again spike channel higher, spike channel higher, spike channel higher. In fact, this was a 3 drives to a top pattern. So yeah, in that respect, Bitcoin also likes to do the spike tops, just like gold. So that's an interesting thing. And now just moving to the gold equities, back to the equities. There's a big list. I think I will not be able to go through all of them, but we'll just try to go through some of them rather quickly. So here, this is whale. This is something that we're putting on our watch list, and it has actually taken the swing high out of 1268 but just went back into it. Moving averages are still supportive of the price action, but the interesting thing is that, look, it's been a really long triangle wedge formation. In fact, I would like to call this the market chart pattern wicked wedge. It's a triangular formation, but it could also be a wedge formation if you draw it from here. So it's a wicked wedge. It's just been there for years, since 2021. And the interesting thing about a lot of these miners is that the underlying commodity has been pretty strong, but some of these miners have not been that strong, and I do not know the reason. The only thing I can think about is that a lot of gold buying has been done of the underlying actual physical commodity by the central banks, and they seem to be more interested in the commodity itself. This is the Agnico Eagle miners, and we were watching for this ABCD 1-to-1 price projection. It completed that, and now it's also forming a spike channel formation. Maybe it's able to go as high as 70 to 20, which is 1.618 expansion. If it does that, that's gonna be good, because that will be a continuation move out of this trading range. So that's good for Agnico Eagle mines. And then the next one is Eldorado Gold Corporation. It's also done its ABCD, and now I think it's also doing a spike channel top formation, possible top formation. Gold Fields Limited, it has done this ABCD as well, and now it's just pulling lower in an ABCD formation, but there's also a trend line, a lot of supply around here, so maybe it just has more to pull back to the downside. So you just keep on watching this channel formation here. It seems to be moving in a channel formation. If it is bullish, then it should just break out of this and continue moving higher. So we'll find that out in our next weekly video. There's Harmony Gold Miners. Yeah, I mean, you can see that spike here. Then the other one is Mag Silver. Silver stocks became really strong here. Then this one is Vista Gold. For some reason, it's just moving lower. Yeah, lower highs. And if we take a look at First Majestic, interesting one, because it went right to the 1.618, and now it has pulled back. So the momentum is improving a little bit. So this one is maybe to keep an eye on to see how it's gonna move, whether this is actually a point B, so A, B, C, D to the high, to the upside. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, I'm just gonna go quickly through Kemco Corporation forming. Yeah, don't like this kind of a pattern, a spike high. Then Endeavor Silver Corporation, look, a really massive move in this. Then we have Freeport McMoran. This one is really interesting because it has completed this ABCD, or very close to completing the ABCD that we were watching for. And now it's just, I don't know, it could be distribution or whatever it is, or consolidation, higher upper level consolidation. But it really needs to get moving above this point here, because that's where the previous structural resistance is. That's 52. So in my opinion, really needs to get above that on a closing basis for a move higher. But this is a strong stock. It has done well. Moving averages are also supporting it. So maybe this is a higher lower consolidation and this continuous move higher. Just my opinion. So this is Franco Nevada Corporation. So one thing I would like to explain about the gold stocks is that there are different kind of gold stocks, meaning that there are miners which are actually mining the underlying commodity, so such as Newmont and Barrick Gold. And then there are those which are royalty stocks. So they are not actually mining. They are more like they are collecting royalties, and I do not know exactly how those are working, but they have an arrangement where they're able to collect revenue, which is really coming in from royalties. Maybe they have leased out some space where the mines are or something. So that's why you tend to see some of these some of these equities which still come under the gold miners, but they are higher priced. But they are actually very different business. It's a very, very different business. So Franco Nevada Corporation is actually a royalty company. That's why you can see the stock is actually stronger. And depending upon the situation, sometimes it's actually better buying a gold royalty stock than compared to actually buying a miner, which has got a lot of overheads. So here it had completed a beautiful ABCD, went lower. If it is moving from a market symmetry perspective, then it could actually move as high as 140. And if we were to draw a retracement, yep, so that's where the 61.8% retracement will be as well. So that is a possibility for this gold royalty stock. And then we have already taken a look at GDX, and this one is Barrick Gold. Barrick Gold, you can see, is very different. It's just tested the upper range, coming right at the 78.6% retracement. Now the chances are there's still a chance it can go a little bit lower, but it's just retraced by half of it. Maybe it does an ABCD coming right into this 1520 region, where it'll be testing the bottom end of the range, and then there could be a chance for an ABCD higher. But for now, you can see there are clearly other stocks which have a better price action. So Hecla looks like it's moving on ABCD. Top of the range could be tested. Then we have the McEwen Mining. Don't know what they do. Newmont, we just yeah, I don't think we had taken a look at Newmont. Had been pretty strong. It broke out of this channel formation, and the chances are it's actually moving in this ABCD formation higher. And we can see 45 $46 perhaps. I don't like the close on Friday. Barring that, you know, it's in this channel formation, it broke out of it. Maybe looks like it tested the top of this channel again, and then I think it might do a smaller ABCD like this. Here we go, and we'll just copy, and then yeah, that will also see it going. So around, you know, 46 $47, maybe that's where it is going. New gold, I don't know what it did do. Pan American Silver Corporation is really strong. So looks like some of the money is actually moving into the metals miners, but not all of them. So specific one, I think the next target for this one is around 2140, which is the 38.2%, excuse me, 50% retracement. But this stock is also pretty strong, and it pays dividend as well, 10 cents dividend. This one is Royal Gold. It is another one of those royalty stocks, and you can see that this one is higher priced as well compared to a lot of these other miners that we have seen. And this one is actually right at the testing its upper range. We need to see more better momentum from this stock. This is Southern Copper Corporation. Copper itself has had a pretty good run, and what we are looking at is you know, when it broke out of it, beginning of March, really nice moves. Yeah, here there's a possibility that we have a 3 drives to a top pattern, because this is some sort of a wedge formation. You can, because we have these 3 points here like this, and then we also have a possibility of drawing it like this. So a wedge formation, if it begins to close below this, here we go, this low 110 111, that's not going to be nice. And you know, one of the things about these wedges is these wicked wedges, the micro chart pattern wicked wedge formation. When they break to either side, they rather break rather spectacularly. So just keep on watching 110 111 level in Southern Copper. If it breaks, yeah, maybe it could come and close this gap as well, right, testing the top of this range. And then Kinross, pretty strong move. Don't like Friday's candle formation, to be honest. And if it has on Monday a move lower, close lower, and especially open with a gap lower, that's going to be an island reversal. So the other one is the Nova Gold. Yeah, don't like this stock, just keep on going down. So thank you very much for watching the video. Apologies, a little bit longer video, but this is the weekly analysis, so we like to go a little bit more in depth, and we took a look at a lot of these gold equities for you. So thank you very much for watching the video. If you like our video, our analysis, think about subscribing to the channel, and if you found this video of educational value, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you very much. Good luck, good trading, and speak to you guys soon.